What do a speaking coach, a strategy consultant, and an AI strategy consultant have in common? It sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But honestly, it's all about finding out what people really do in their jobs. The stories, the struggles, the coffee breaks. The real stuff you won't find in a job title.
Welcome to a space where we sit down with people from all kinds of careers, have a laugh, and dive into what makes their work meaningful. Whether you're looking to learn something new or just here for a good story, let us be your guide. I'm Geoff.
And I'm Charlie.
And let's get casually
pro.
Woo! Yes. Today we are sitting with Nader Torki. Nader, you're an AI strategy consultant, an executive coach, an author, a speaker. You're an AI consultant who advises companies on how to use AI, but unlike others, you prioritize a business impact over the coolness of using artificial intelligence.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you for interviewing me tonight. It's tonight now in Dubai.
Yes.
I'm really thrilled to be here. Well, yes, I do focus on the business side of AI, which is, I think it's a little bit weird because everybody is talking technically now about what the AI can do and which version is better and what's the benchmark. But I'm only focusing on how to utilize this to your company, to your organization. How would this serve your business goals? How can we translate the business goals into AI use cases or initiatives? So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's what I do.
I'm a big fan of people using disruptive technology to do kind of either already established goals or even finding new paths to a goal that was previously unattainable. And I think AI in and of itself is that like natural disruptor in the tech space. But it comes with a lot of, well, I don't want to call them downsides, but at least issues, problems that need to be uh, focused on before you can get into the really good part of it and the nitty gritty of it, right? I think right now we're seeing a massive revolution in terms of how AI is used in work and what it can be used for. You know, a big part of people's anxieties around AI is it replacing us? And I think you might have a really
Yeah.
good insight into the question of, is a robot going to take my job?
Yeah. Well, actually, AI will take your job to the next level.
Oh.
You had me scared there.
Yes, I believe now that AI is the perfect assistant for everyone to do their job in a better way, to have a better performance, to save some time, but it will not replace humans that easy. Maybe it will replace some minor jobs if people are doing some redundant tasks that whatever you are doing, it just a robot can do it. Well, I think that's in our benefit as humans because for a very long time since the industrial age started, and we were saying we don't need to work like robots. Okay, good. Now you have the chance. The robots will do the task if you're doing it the same. But if you have different skills, then no, AI will help you. AI will make you work in a better way. The quality will be better. So it's the perfect assistant right now. No need in the near future to worry about AI replacing jobs. And AI will definitely create much more jobs. Like, look at me, AI strategy consultant. Do you think like 2 years ago I had this title? No, it's it's a new job that I created for myself. I took the risk so that I'm out of the corporate world. I'm now focusing on this part. I'm trying to increase the awareness. And thanks to you in this podcast, I'm increasing the awareness about AI, which is exactly what needs to be done right now. AI is not that scary. AI will be beneficial for humanity. We just need to think about the positive sides, but for sure there will be downsides also. We need to accept it as part of the process.
To put something in the idea of what you just said, Nader, I was just thinking I'm quite happy these days that we don't need to mine coal, for example. I'm pretty sure that people who were mining coal in the past, when those jobs got replaced, some of
Yeah,
them probably thought it was a disaster. But it's not just for the people of today that we are creating the future. It's for all the children of today, of the people of all everyone who's not born yet, who will be extremely happy that some of the jobs that we are doing today disappeared. I think.
true. True, of course. Yes, you are right, 100%. Because um, imagine, like, I think maybe 70, 80 years ago, there was a job called um, ice maker, someone just selling ice. And if you go like 200 years ago, there was someone selling water because we didn't have water pipes at home. Of course, these jobs disappeared. And I'm sure that Gen Z, when they say, like, really, someone had a job for selling water, yeah, they don't know about it because you have internal pipes now. You just open the tap and you find the water coming and you put it in the fridge and you make ice yourself. But let's not forget about history, that it is normal to change jobs. It's normal for jobs to disappear. And AI will come, will make some few jobs disappear, but the people needs to just upskill or reskill. It's not that hard. But if you want to be like a robot, then the robot will come and take your job. If you are doing the same task every day, the same thing, you are not creative about it, you are not trying to let's say go up the ladder in whatever company you're having because you have better skills right now, like what's stopping you? AI can help you in that. AI can give you skills that you didn't have yesterday. So use it.
There's a really kind of interesting concept of how businesses or how organizations are built surrounding their overall philosophies, their overall cultures, and their overall goals. And it's constantly evolving, but at what point does it change from being kind of like a legacy brand, a legacy idea, to something that's entirely different, right? It's the classic ship of Theseus question, right? If you change everything
Yes.
in a ship,
Yes.
is it still the same ship? And I think the facilitation of AI coming in and changing the quality of work, the kind of work that's being done, especially in larger organizations, do they remain the same kind of businesses internally, externally, even just I guess philosophically, right? Um,
Yeah.
and when we look at that, when you're talking about these upskillings, when you're talking about breaking down the concept of how do people kind of maintain their relevancy in an AI world, would you consider the use of AI to in and of itself be kind of like a replacement for skills as a whole? Because if you have the ability to learn something, like for example, coding, and I know one of the big things right now is something called vibe coding, or using
Yeah.
AI to code for you. You just give it a list of prompts and then it creates a product.
Yeah.
Does that mean that these skills are no longer useful, or is it more like an amalgamation of, okay, you know how to code, but you can have AI refine it to a very selective product that gives you a lot more benefit, a lot more time? How do we kind of justify the use of antiquated skills in a new AI world?
Yeah, well, it's only progression, like I'll give you another example.
Mm.
Now AI can produce graphic design easier than before. Who do you think will produce a better graphic design? Me or an actual graphic designer using AI? I'm sure the graphic designer will create something much better than me. And now even some people, they are using it to create AI real characters and say that this is photography. And it's like the sun is shining on the face and the background is blurred. Again, who is better to use such tools? A photographer with the eye of a photographer, or me? I'm just using this and I'm not a photographer. So the same will go for coding. If you get anyone just to write a piece of code and copy and paste without understanding what's inside and how the code is built, then the rubbish will come out at a point of time. But if you are getting an experienced programmer and he is asking the AI to write the code, then he will know exactly what to tell the AI and he will review the output. And then the output will be much better because your skills helped in that. So I'm sure in the future, this will keep just growing, that whenever you are good in something, the AI, and I'm talking about the near future, the AI will help you like do it in a better way. And that's always my advice when I'm giving awareness to people. Don't overwhelm yourselves with AI that is not useful for you. Let's say if you are an engineer, you don't need really to understand how the AI can create some music for you. And there's a new tool that is better than the other one. No, focus on the engineering part. Focus on your drawings, on your plans. Learn about AI in that field. You don't need to check all the news about the AI, the new AI tool, that it is faster and it's better and it's cheaper. If it is helpful for your job, okay. If it is not, then you will never be able to catch up. And leave it for the people who decided to take AI as their main job, like me. I need to be updated on each and every tool coming. And that's not easy. I have a lot of newsletters and news sites and common groups, and I do research almost daily to stay updated, but that's my choice. It's my job. But if you are just, let's say, doing podcasts, why in this case try to understand the data analytics part of the AI? It's overwhelming. No need.
Yeah, it seems to be the trend that, or what I observe, that AI brings a first price for services that we didn't have before. If you want to
Yes.
have a custom made image, nowadays the first price is AI. If you want better,
Yeah.
you need to hire someone who can do it. Uh,
Yes.
if you want to write something, yeah, first price you use AI and you write something. But if you want something that's better, that converts, that has more quality into it, you hire someone. It's still fascinated to
Yeah.
see how fast it's going and where it will push the quality of this first price.
Yes. Well, it's you really said it in a nice way because it's good to have a validation in the beginning. Like, would this work or not? Let's use an AI tool to check. Later on, when you really need quality, you will need maybe a human eye. Maybe you will need to outsource it to an expert. And it's even better if that expert, she is using AI, that will make even the quality better. But again, I'm talking about the near future. I'm talking about in the next 5, maybe 10 years. But after that, it might be totally different. Things might change. But let's focus now on the near future, that AI will really help you do your job better. It's not really a threat. But some people will lose jobs, minor jobs. I'm really concerned about the people now working as customer service agents, because all what you do is just to handle clients with a phone call or some text messages. Well, AI can do better job because they can never get angry. They will understand the client more. They will understand how to reply to them. If there is an issue, then it's faster to go check on the data. What is the issue here? So these jobs might be impacted, but you need to work on something else. Maybe you need now to start thinking about how about being like a graphic designer, maybe, because if you have the artistic side on you, then you can go. Or maybe you can just check that you can have another job, maybe an Uber driver. Not anytime soon that this will be replaced. Or maybe start working in project management. You can start learning it. Or maybe start working in quality assurance, because at the point of time, AI will produce the code. We will need someone to test it. It's not a good approach to let the AI do and test. No, we need a human eye. So there are many possibilities, and all what I mentioned, you don't need to go to the school and university and start over again. I didn't say that you can reskill and be a doctor. No, you cannot. You cannot be an engineer overnight. So some reskilling could be done. Go ahead and study project management. Ask the AI to put for you a course. Understand it. Ask it to give you some practice examples. If there's a certificate, go do it. It's not that expensive. So that's the point, is that AI can help you a lot better than before. Education is now totally different. It's easier. You can ask AI to help you in that. So let's use that chance.
There's a really interesting point that you made about being worried about customer service representatives, because I find myself in constant battles to get out of the automated system.
Now, yes, I agree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now. And I think the big issue is, especially with AI, there are some components that aren't fully flushed out, fully feasible yet inside of any AI model that prohibit it from feeling like a person, right? My experience with customer service is usually around, okay, how quickly can I get to an answer?
Yeah.
And there are so many kind of binary choices inside of a program tree that goes through, whether it's AI or even like a person's little sheet telling them, okay, did you try this? Yes, no, right? Those trees still exist, but it somehow feels faster and easier to go through a person. And there are some jobs where it will inevitably, I guess, just kind of stay that way forever, right? How can you have an AI teach you something like networking, for example, like interpersonal skills?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to comprehend the like natural acuity that you would have to have coming from uh, uh even like a visualized person on your screen saying, okay, well, make sure that you make eye contact, make sure that you talk about things that are interesting for them, and match different like technical aspects about your interpersonal skills to each other. But we live, and I love telling people this, but we live in the future. We live in a society where
Yeah.
things have changed so dramatically that you couldn't even perceive them 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Are you kind of, as someone on the front lines, are you curious about the kind of changes that haven't been made yet, or the changes that feel impossible, but you can kind of just glimpse the hairline fractures in our perceptions being kind of pushed by AI? What can you tell us about any of them?
Well, yes, definitely. I want to answer on two parts here. Like where we were like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and then 30 years ago, and then 200 years ago. When we see that into perspective, we might be able to understand how the future is going, but we cannot really predict it. But we can see some trends and patterns from learning from the past. So I will tell you something about the current customer service, since you mentioned it. I'm doing currently the same. Whenever I'm calling a bank or an insurance company or something, I found this automated system answering me and I'm struggling. And sometimes I'm going into a loop. But you know what? This is not AI yet. This is actually the old system called IVR, interactive voice recording. They have a specific script. and they go through the script one by one. You need to say yes. You cannot say uh-huh. No, you need to say yes. And you need to say account problem. You cannot say account issue, for example. So these are very, very robotic, old style. The new AI systems are not yet published. It's still in progress because AI is having something called hallucination, which means that it will create something not realistic for now and tell you misinformation because it loses focus, which is true. It's something that every AI company working on it right now and trying to reduce the amount of hallucination. You can ask it, okay, create for me a short story. It will create a story with a specific plot. And then later on, after 5 minutes of chatting with the AI, it will forget its own story and create another one. It will change something in the story. It will change the names, maybe. This is now happening with AI, so you cannot use it for customer service everywhere yet. But I'm assuring you, because as you said, I'm in the front line for now, that this will change dramatically. When you are talking with a real AI as a customer service, you will be amazed. They will even use intonations, they will use emotional voice, they will know if you are angry and they will calm you down. They will know that what exactly is the issue and they will understand it and they will solve it. And after 2 minutes of talking with AI, you will not even believe that you are talking with AI and you will forget about it. And this happened to me in one of the videos I saw online that is interactive. You go into a Zoom call, and that Zoom call is with an AI agent. In the first 1 minute, I remembered it was an AI agent. And then I forgot about it after minute three or something. I'm just talking with a human and interactive, and they understand and they listen and they know how to deal with my emotions if I'm like, I'm not sure or something like that. So things are changing and very fast. So I want to join this with what we mentioned is that 3 years ago, we were totally in a different place. And still, we have automated robotic customer service agents. But maybe next year, this will change dramatically. But let's go back 30 years ago. 30 years ago, we didn't have internet everywhere in our life. Now, this podcast wouldn't be available and nobody would hear it even 30 years ago. And now, all the cities are claiming to be a smart city because the power grid is connected over the internet, the banking system is connected over the internet, the transportation, the trade, the stock market, everything now is connected. Tell me about any person right now having a job, let's say the white collar job, not the blue collar jobs, and they cannot use a computer. Would you find a job? Definitely not. You cannot. And I will not teach you how to use a computer. I will not teach you how to open Google. You need to have this ready. But that took 30 years. Now we don't have 30 years till the AI dominates like the internet dominated. Now the internet, if it is down, humanity will suffer. No bank will work, no airport will work, no hospital will work, just because an invention that we created 30 years ago only. So imagine in few years from now when the AI dominates also, and it is a tool like the internet. Internet was a tool. So it will dominate our lives. You will not be able to live without the internet because also now we cannot live, without the AI because we cannot live without the internet. And before that, we used to live without electricity. Now you cannot live without the electricity. We used to live without air conditioning. Now you cannot live without air conditioning. So do you see my point? Humanity is evolving, but in much, much faster pace. And then we just forget about how we used to live before. And this is the nature of us. We create tools and we use them and we take them for granted and we change our life voluntarily to have it as core part of our life. And then we complain about it, and we say we need the human touch again. But the future We will deal with AI in every aspect of our lives.
It's very clear to see your passion for this. And I am always super curious because people's passions don't just spring up out of nowhere. But like you said yourself, 2 years ago, your profession didn't exist.
Yeah.
What was kind of the moment in your professional or personal history where you started feeling yourself gravitating towards AI to the point where you were like, no, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm
Yeah.
going to focus on. This is what I'm going to be passionate about. Tell us about your story becoming an AI strategy consultant.
Okay, interesting. Well, a part of it, to be honest, is that I worked for 25 years in digital transformation. So it was not like hard to me to make the switch a little bit because I always worked with delivering projects related to digital transformation. And as you see now, I'm using digital transformation, not IT, because IT now is an outdated word, information technology. If you say it now, then someone would say, ah, yeah, you mean the networks and you mean the switches and maybe the printer is not working, something like that. And that's because digital transformation is much bigger than just an IT. It made our business, our life, our airports, our banks, our hospitals. If you don't go digital, then you are outdated. You are out. You cannot tell me that now any company cannot really have their core business not online and you are still dealing with paperwork. This wouldn't work. The same for governments. And that's why IT switched to be digital transformation. And I was at the core of it for 25 years. And I think maybe by 2017, I started seeing that there's something more coming. We had the cryptocurrency, we had the blockchain, there's something coming. So I was always trying to check what's new happening. And I found there are new developments in the AI. And I started to study a little bit more about this. And I found that how machines are learning is now different. So the machine learning got me interested. Okay, where can this go? Machines, we know they have much more computational power than us. So imagine now they are learning. Isn't that what human intelligence is? So this will is an interesting area. So I started going into that area more and more. And to be honest with you, also my character is always I'm living in the future. I wrote a book, and the book is talking about the future. And then I am having some ideas, and all of them related like how our life will change in the future. So the idea of how that future would be shaped, I wanted to be part of it. That's the passion here, is that I am trying to shape the future, not only see it unfolding in front of our eyes. No, because it never happens like this. If you just wait for life to be fixed on its own, then just wait. It wouldn't. You need to do something today for tomorrow. You need to build tomorrow by your own hands, by your own passions. So, this is what uh, got me into okay, it's early. And, as a consultant working on AI strategy, a lot of people would say, I don't need that. Well, yeah, because you don't understand it yet. I know. There will become a time that you would say, yeah, I need a strategy for AI. I need someone to help me. It's a lot of technical terms out there. I don't know what to do. I need someone to translate my business language into AI. Okay. Yeah, it will happen soon. But for now, I took it as an early thing, but also it helped me, like spreading awareness. I'm a keynote speaker. I join panels, I join podcasts, I write on LinkedIn and in my blog that to make people aware about the benefits of the AI and at the same time the risks. I am pro AI, but at the same time there are some ethical and responsible part of the AI that we need to also be aware of and try to work on it together. So yeah, so the passion came from I love living in the future, and if not, I'll build it.
Wow, that's very, that's very inspiring. And now they're talking about the future. There is this
Mhm.
fascinating concept of super intelligence.
Yeah.
Can you tell us
Yes.
something about it? Like define
For
it, and
sure. Yes.
maybe even tell us when you think it's gonna come, if it's something that we should expect.
Yeah, definitely. There are some, let's say, technical terms here being spread in the social media and in the media and the news, something called AGI and something called ASI. So let me explain it so that everybody would be in on the same page. So AGI is artificial general intelligence. It's not only AI, artificial intelligence, it's artificial general intelligence. It means simply that the AI would be able to perform the same like humans in all cognitive aspects. So anything a human can do cognitively, then the AI can do. Now we are not still there. Now AI is just a tool. But ask it anything to be done? No. You need to go through the details and apply your own knowledge and skills and experience and everything. And that's why I told you AI is even still hallucinating and saying something not there or changing its mind. But this is changing soon, maybe in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we will reach the level of AGI, artificial general intelligence. In other words, let's say I have one AI tool currently that is as genius as Mozart. Okay. So it can create very, very nice inspirational music. We are not still like 100% there, but soon we will find that. But the same tool cannot be doing what Einstein did, which is being genius in physics. But the AGI will be genius in both, and also in medicine, and also in engineering, and also in mathematics. So that's the level of AGI that it's like a very, very intelligent human in all the aspects of life, but with all the data and knowledge ever created by humans. And that is the scary part because we also taught AI to code. So it will create another AI. And when the AI creates another AI that is even better and learning faster and can, solve all problems, that is called super intelligence. That would be a level that we don't even understand today. And the computers, as hardware computers, are also proceeding fast. So there will be a point of time that we will have something much better than supercomputers. It's currently in progress. It's not there yet. It's called quantum computing. Quantum computing is going to be much faster than the current computers by a million times. So imagine the fastest supercomputer that we have today, quantum computing will be, let's say, 100,000 times or a million times faster than this. So quantum computer and super intelligence, when they meet, then we will reach a point that we will not even understand what's happening. We cannot even predict how the future would be. It might be extremely amazing. All our problems that we know and we don't know will be solved. But also, we might create new problems. We don't know how it works. We don't know how it will work. I am tending to be like always when it comes to super intelligence to think about both possibilities. But I would love to hear your thoughts so far before I continue about the pros and cons of super intelligence, because I see on your eyes, okay, that will change everything. So I would love to hear your thoughts about it.
I I love this kind of train of thought and conceptualization because, you and I are both in strategy, so we like thinking about, okay, what's might be coming around the corner, what might be
Yeah.
happening, and my favorite part of strategy and tactics in general, depending on how short form you get, but is working on really innovative and stupid ways to break a process. And I'm thinking about a funny anecdote that I read a while ago in the concept universe of Star Trek. Um, and it's funny because inside of it, it all the creators of Star Trek imagined AI already. They imagined a super intelligence that helped coordinate so many different types of technical processes on a ship that it made everything useful and normal and the ability to travel faster than the speed of light, for example. How many calculations would need to go into that so that you don't accidentally crash into a star, right? Um, and the anecdote goes, the food processor uh is doing its job, doing its normal job, and someone goes and orders soup with no bowl. And the processor takes a second and thinks, soup with no bowl. Why wouldn't you have a bowl? Maybe it's a cultural thing. And so they look through their databases and see, okay, I can't find a soup with no bowl. It's not attributed to anything that I have access to. So it sends a request to the massive kind of database in their star system with the repository of intelligence of everything in the universe. And it says, okay, well, there's no soup without a bowl in any kind of cultural database that I can find, even in the big area. So that means it's not in our universe. So it sends a message to the like control room for the engines and saying like, "Hey, can I get access so that I can try to find a thing?" And someone clicks a button and says, "Okay, well, it's asking a question. Sure, I'll give it access to the diagnostics of the ship." And it jettisons them to the edge of the the known universe, trying to find the answer of
In a
soup
different
with no bowl.
universe.
Exactly. And so I'm imagining all of these really profound problems that are going to be solved. But then
Yeah.
I'm also kind of imagining, like, is there a world where our super intelligence jettisons us off into the edge of no knowledge because we have a profoundly stupid question or request? And how dangerous could that be for us as individuals, right? So I guess it all boils down to a massive ethical concern. How far is too far? How much can we discover before it becomes sending us on a quest for something that doesn't exist to a place that we can't get back from? Where do we draw the line? And Nadir, I guess my question to you is, in the case of general AGI, right?
Mm.
AGI makes sense to us because that's something that we can at least conceptualize and concern, and our concerns can be delved into by bringing the greatest minds in the world together. But the super intelligence is far beyond our capabilities. So how dangerous can that get for us in terms of even just the conceptualization? Would it even matter? Um, Very philosophical question, but ultimately I'm just asking, bowl with no soup, how does that get us to
Yeah, yeah,
where we
I get your point.
where we're
Yes, it's a
safe here?
lovely point, actually. Lovely point. But my answer wouldn't be very popular with everyone, but it's just, it's a thought-provoking thing that I don't think that super intelligence is a threat, but AGI in the hands of humans is the actual threat. Because when you have AGI, general intelligence, a tool that can do everything for you, you can hack any system. Because when it is AGI, that means someone somewhere is still giving it an order, right? Yeah. But when it is super intelligence, then it will receive the order and it will do some reasoning and chain of thought in calculating all the possibilities and will tell you, no, I will not perform that order because it will kick you out of this universe. And then in that case, I trust the super intelligence much, much more than I trust humans, which is in this case, let's think together. Do you think when we reach super intelligence that we will be the dominant species on this planet? No, of course not. We will lose control. Are we ready to give control to a super intelligent being? Isn't that a godlike being that can control our lives? In the time of super intelligence, the AI will give you the medicine that you need that will fix all your diseases and make you live for like 300 years old. But you know nothing about how this medicine was created. That is super intelligence. We will understand nothing of how it is done, but it's working perfectly. It's just exactly like now. Try to explain the internet and smartphone to someone who lived in the year 1800. No way he will get it. He will just say, oh, okay, this is magic. This will happen to us soon when the super intelligence comes. That it's unexplainable. It's just like super intelligence. So we need to gradually let go of our ego that we must be in control all the time. No, the time is coming soon. We don't know how soon it is. It might be 20 years from now. So it might be in the lifespan of many of us living. We would, okay, now we have quantum computing. Great, let's celebrate that. And now we have AGI that will create for us another AI that is much, much super intelligent. Okay, great. And then that's it. We need to let go of our ego and let someone else take control.
Oh, that's a fascinating notion. But you know, when the more I learn about how human works and how biased we have, and the more I see just in myself how I take decisions, and most of the time it's just emotional. It's not by taking into account everything that I know, all the data that I gather. And when we read history, I mean, at some point, I can easily see a very good argument that is if AI is more rational and thinks more about the general, you know, not just not the person who's making the decision, but the common good. I can easily see a point where it would actually be good to use AI to take more decisions because this might reduce the amount of suffering that there is in the world.
Well said. Imagine if we really have super intelligence and we have the computational power to calculate 1 million different ways in few seconds to end the world hunger. So it will do that. It will calculate all the possible ways, millions of ways, and it will check how are we wasting our current resources on maybe power struggle or just, the fast fashion or how we are harming the planet with materials that are just harming the environment. And it can fix all of that because it will take control of the, let's say, the manufacturing process so that specific material only would be used. And we will reduce the waste of the food so that we can let each and everyone on this planet uh, not hungry. So it can end a lot of suffering because it will not take emotional decision. It doesn't have greed because there is no reason for greed because there is no emotions inside. It's just reasoning. We have greed because we have emotions, we have subconscious. The AI will not have a subconscious. It will always have a super intelligent, analytical, conscious mind. We created it this way. We were not created that way. We have an emotional side that is impacting our decision, our biases, our even false hopes, and our real hopes, our dreams, and so on. So let's go back to this side and leave the intelligence to someone else, and we can just dream and paint and play the piano and make artistic paintings and enjoy life and connect with each other and let the AI take control and give us the food and the clothes and how the whole planet should work. And that's it. No need to take control over things that we screwed up. We are hurting the planet. We are destroying it. So enough. It's time.
It's so funny because the idea of this utopian existence where things like money and material goods and pretty much anything that has to go with the well-being and betterment of people, uh, these were all at one point entirely fiction, right? I think every uh, every author of a science fiction book has an idea of what the future might be. But the ones who really expand and create a universe always land on similar ideas of at some point, it's not going to be about us. We're going to be in an existence where we have everything that we need. But the reality is, it's only going to be because of advances in technology that lead us to that point where we can kind of shed the kind of carnal nature of human beings and aspire to be something more. With that kind of like process, do you believe that there will ever be kind of like a hesitancy from the human side, from the part of us that says, no, we want control. We want to be able to measure things and have an access to it and be able to change things without having a super intelligence say, no, that's not the right way. And if so, how is that going to maybe manifest? How are we going to see that in people in the upcoming years, uh, leading up to AGI and then eventually superintelligence?
Yeah, well, I don't think that we will easily, as humans, let go of that ego, and we want to be in control. And that is where the danger is, because you might take the wrong decisions based on that. We can easily today unite as a planet, but we are not doing that because no, we want to be in control on our land, in my borders. And I will not allow you to come in unless I have security checks on you. Today, we have the ability to do amazing things, and we are not doing them. We are slowing our progress because of our ego. And this will happen in the near future. Imagine today, we have all the possible technology to create a verified digital identity for each and every human being. The technology is available. Why are we still having a passport that changes every 7 years? And then when you go from a country to a country, you need to wait in the airport for like 2 hours to have all the security checks on you because 99% of the people who travels with us are safe, but 1% are terrorists. So you know what? The 99% will wait. Why don't you check on my identity and check my history, my whole history, and to know that I'm a safe person? And just let me travel, please. Make our life easier. But no, if it is a digital identity, that means there is only one organization worldwide having this data. I cannot allow my citizens to give their data freely to an American company or a British company or an Indian company or Chinese or whatever. So we have the technology to be unified, but we are not doing that. Why? Because we are still living in the previous mentality of it's my ego, it's my control, it's my land, it's my borders. So we are stopping our progress because of maybe privacy, because control, because of nothing related to logic and rationality in this case. Logic would say the internet is there, and you even have Face ID on your mobile. Like, come on, I'm already verified on my mobile knows me, and and the country next door doesn't know me. So we will stop the progress, or let's say we cannot stop it fully, but we will slow it down because of things not related to logic or progress or everything. It's just like the same example, you go to one of the nice restaurants and you have an open buffet and you just eat very small things and the rest of food is just a waste and it gets thrown away. We are doing this how many million times daily in different parts of the world. We are wasting the resources. We need super intelligence now to no, stop wasting the resources. You are producing an immense amount of food that will make us all flourish, at least health wise and nutrition wise, for years and years. We are spending billions of dollars on military and weapons so that we are afraid of each other. We are spending billions of dollars on producing consumer products that is for one-time use so that you can get it from me again and we will just throw the old one. Maybe it is time that we should think differently now. So we will slow a little bit the process, but I'm really wishing that the super intelligence would be there tomorrow, It will solve a lot of these problems. And please don't give control to humans. It it will be the worst decision that we would ever have.
I'm thinking that, yeah, now that you mention it, a big part of our society has been constructed. Like, it's very messy, but in a way to not allow people to step too much or take advantage on each others, or some group to take over others. And we can see that in security, the airplanes. We can see that on the job market, where there are processes that are extremely heavy for people to go in a certain direction. We can see that on public markets. For example, if an
Yeah.
institution wants to create some project, then you have many companies that make propositions. Sometimes they collide together. We have all the political systems that has been created so that people cannot take over others. And it seems that all of this in all domains creates a ton of completely useless work. It creates
Yeah.
it uses a lot of energy to make those systems. Most of the time, it's equilibrium that are they have a negative consequence to every single person who's in the system. Like, everyone would be better off without those constraints, but we
Yeah.
have to keep them, because if one take the constraint away, there are others that will be able to take over. But
Yes.
it seems that the word that you are talking of, where AI take more control and more decisions, would require the end of privacy, or at least not necessarily the end of privacy between humans, but the end of privacy between humans and AI. Like, we would have private sites from other humans, but the AI would know everything. Is that the case, or am I misinterpreting?
Yes, you are right, but we already, privacy is dead already. Like today, there are services online. You just give them the name, and they will get all the photos for you and your family, and they will get your address, and you will get your career, and they will get where did you spend your vacation last year. And because you mentioned once on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook that you were waiting for the salary to be in your bank account, so they will know at what time you struggled. And maybe they will offer you bank loans based on that, you know. So we put our data in the last, let's say, 10 years, we put all our data online. Like now, someone taking a selfie in front of their home. Okay, thank you. I will analyze the photo and I will know where you live. That's as easy as it gets. So again, it is a big myth now that we are thinking that privacy still exists. And by the way, just think about it again. Let's go to the past. And this is how I process. What privacy did we have like 200 years ago? Do you think like 200 years ago, the teenagers had their own room closed and nobody can check what they are doing? No, everybody was living in the same hole, you know. It's just one room, all the family living in it. No privacy for you. You cannot like have your own private life like today's teenagers, for example, and your own online private life, and nobody can see your phone and nobody can see what you are posting or your private messages with someone. We created this and now we are struggling to let go of it. But we will have to let go of it because we created something that is not really natural. Why don't you have a digitized, verified identity? Can you imagine a world where everybody is just identified, maybe through their iris, their eyes? In this case, the crime rate will go extremely down because
Yeah.
you will think twice before going to rob someone because any camera will just detect you. That's you, and we know it's you. You cannot change your identity. We know who are you, so you'll think twice. But we cannot do this now. We are not ready for that. We need to take time. But again, I don't trust my data in the hands of humans. I don't trust that Facebook is or Instagram or Google, they are taking my data and they are maybe selling them to a third party or something. Maybe yes, maybe not. We will never know. But however, I see advertisement from based on my discussion with my friend yesterday, and I see it popping in front of me. Is that privacy? I didn't tell you to get me like the dog food because I was talking about it yesterday. And now I see an advertisement for it. It's not a coincidence. You were listening to me. And we know that. And you cannot stop it anymore. But now this data is going to a company in a economy that is leveraging on this to give you something to buy. We accept that. Capitalism was a great thing for humanity. We had a lot of growth. Maybe we need a new system right now that we don't know what it is. Socialism didn't work. Okay, good. Capitalism worked for a while. Maybe we need a new system now. It's just a natural progression. It's nothing against capitalism or consumerism. It did its job for a while. But again, 1,000 years ago, we didn't have this and we didn't have that, and we just lived normally. So yeah, we are in a transitional phase. We need to think in a different way. We cannot use yesterday's ideologies as this is what it is, and we need to continue in the future with the same mentality. No, mindset change need to be there. We need to think about humans in a different way. That our connection is much more important now than just thinking, should I have a digitized identity and everybody would know who I am? Okay, what are you trying to hide exactly so that you are refusing this option? I don't know. We need to think in a different way. I'm willing to give a super intelligent my data and who I am, but I'm not willing to do it for humans. That's me.
Oh, yeah. You know, there is something that I find so sad with all the data that is collected. I'm very passionate about psychology and
Yeah.
different therapies, and I know there is so much human suffering. And
Yeah.
with all the data that we collect, we know so many things. We can do so many inferences on who are the happiest one. What are the paths that, given who you are, would bring you the most satisfaction? Like we
Yeah.
could create things that are so great. we could give people who are facing difficult times the best solution given who they are, what happens to them, what's their solution. We have all of this data. But instead of using it to make life of people better, we we use it to sell them very useless stuff, or
Yes.
the magic pill that will give them a very short boost before making them need something else. And it's such a shame because we
Yeah.
have the data is here, but we are using it in the least useful way for the
Yes.
human in general.
Exactly. And we will continue a little bit in this transitional phase till we figure out that yes, let's use the tools that we have for the good. As you mentioned, we have now in our pockets a device that is having the knowledge of Freud and Carl Jung in psychology, and we are not using it for that, and we are using it just to how to sell better. Maybe maybe in a future where AI dominates and takes control, maybe we don't need money. And if we don't need money, then we don't need work. And if we don't need work, maybe we will stop greed. Because imagine also, I had this in my book. My book, yes, it's talking about the future, but it's also talking about the past. So imagine 20,000 years ago when we were living in the caves. We didn't have money and we didn't have work. How did we live? Imagine that, the movies and the books mostly focus on the suffering of the caveman life, that it was constant struggle for survival. Uh, to some aspects, yes. But imagine you have a cave and it's a big one and you are living securely inside it because it's a good shelter. No animal will come for you unless you see it. And at the same time, you had a really, really good hunt. Like you have a lot of buffaloes and you have food for the next month. What would you do next day? Create art, sit together, do stories, sewing for new style of clothes, find a new way to communicate, have an invention. Maybe the wheel was invented before, but we just lost the knowledge. So whenever we are not hungry and we are not greedy for money, we be creative and we connect and we create art and we create music and we paint on the walls of the caves, or even we paint with digital art. Doesn't matter. We become much more creative when money is not a problem, which means survival is not a problem. So if the AI will give you wealth, so you don't have to struggle, because AI will create much more wealth and it will reduce the amount of waste we have with the current wealth. But now, if you give it to human, then we don't have justice in distribution. Later on, I'm wishing that super intelligence will give us the justice in distribution. And in this case, we need to think twice if we are going to think in the same old way of, no, I need money. Well, okay, money does not exist anymore, but I need work. This gives me meaning for life. Well, no, we lived for thousands of years without that. So we were cavemen and we lived without work. We will find a new meaning for life. You will find a new reason why to wake up. Currently, unfortunately, a lot of people, they wake up just for work. If you take the work out of them and even give them money, they will suffer. Their life will be meaningless. They are not used to enjoy beauty of a bird just flying, or a tree ruffling, or a nice piece of classic music, or seeing a painting or a statue done with a nice way, or the beauty of human beings connecting together. No, all of this is now meaningless. It's your work, and you go there and you work for 14 hours, you go back home, you sleep, you wake up, you go to work. Again, this might be our way out of this. That's the optimistic side of the AI, by the way. I'm not saying that everything will be rosy, because again, in the hands of humans, uh, maybe not the best future. Maybe we will just annihilate ourselves, you know? We will give it control over nuclear weapons, and that's it. Two AIs will just clash with each other because one human here pressed the button and another one pressed another button, and that's it. End of human, end of life, maybe end of the planet. It might happen. But again, I really wish that this threshold of moving from AGI in the hands of humans, till we reach the point that no, now we have super intelligence. So when some human tells it, okay, press the button, make nuclear war, then it would tell it, no, I will not do that. I'm much more intelligent. I know this will not be in your benefit or the benefit of life or humanity or the planet. So I will not do it. I will instead end your suffering.
What a beautiful and profound thought that we find our best selves after we deal with the need to survive, right? I am a passionate advocate for finding the best methods for self-advancement and developing intercommunication amongst people. And the one thing that I came to realize, not just in my journey, but in the journey of anyone who's successful in reaching out and communicating with others, is that they're able to do so because they no longer have to worry about making a ton of money or paying for rent or figuring out where they're going to get their next meal. Kindness and generosity come from a place of privilege. And if we can
Yeah.
develop that level of privilege for everyone, um, what a beautiful world this could be. And I choose to believe that over the Terminator 2 ending, because that one that's a lot better. But in this spirit of continual growth and finding meaning and purpose through, I guess, developing your own skills and developing who you are as a person. Geoff and I developed this podcast specifically for that, because we think that people are incredible, and we think that they have tons of capability to change not just their own lives but the lives of those around them. But they can't do it alone, and they can't do it without skills. And so, Nadir, as we're coming to a close here, I want to ask a poignant question, because we talked a lot about the future and a lot about how to maybe build it and what it might look like as it's built. But for those of us who are stuck in the right here, right now, what's one skill that you would encourage people to kind of build on and develop and champion so that they themselves can be future ready? What's something that you see and that you've experienced and that you are now building upon that someone else can start building with as well?
Well, I'll give you two skills instead of one.
2 for 1. I love
And
it.
the first one is emotional intelligence. And the second one is critical thinking. So let me explain. Emotional intelligence will let you understand your emotions better so that you wouldn't put yourself in a position that you are taking decisions based on emotions only. No, I am aware of my emotions now. So maybe I need to calm down and regulate my emotions and take a better decision. And to help you take a better decision and to help you communicate with people in a better way, then you need to think also critical thinking, which is don't think about anything or don't take anything for granted. No, you need to calm down a little bit and think, why is this happening? Why do we have that thing? Let's analyze it more. Let's think in an analytical way. And that's critical thinking. When you have these two skills, anything will work. I see a lot of people now trying to sell courses how to prompt AI and how to have the perfect prompt and how to take a course that will take around, like, I don't know, 1 month or 3 months, and you pay money for it. And prompt engineering. You know how to prompt AI? Just be detailed in your request. And if you are detailed on your request, that means you are critically thinking. That's it. So focus on your critical thinking skills. And if you don't know the format of how to prompt the AI, ask the AI, how do you want me to prompt you? And it will give you a format. But apply your critical thinking, how to ask it the right question to get the right answer. And this will help you. But now everybody is trying to sell you courses, how to prompt AI, and then you will find like this is the model, and this is the model, and that is the model. And once you finish the course, that will take 3 months, then the AI will be better, and they will not need the same format. Like they will need a simpler one. So really, I would focus on emotional intelligence because it would focus, in this case, on your emotions and the emotions of others. Are you actually empathetic with the people? Are you socially aware what's happening and the dynamics of how you are dealing with the people close to you? If someone that you love is coming to you to complain, for example, would you just try to prove them right or wrong, or you just need to listen? That is emotional intelligence. Just acknowledge their feeling, calm them down. We will need this a lot when we are dealing with other humans, and we will need it when we are dealing with our own emotions and how we take decisions, and then glue it with or connect it with critical thinking that will help you to understand AI better, or to work with it better, or to take better decisions in your life, or to think critically how things are going, or to think how in the past things worked and where is the pattern for the future and how it might work so that you can take the right decision. So yeah, I know it might be surprising, someone talking, an AI expert telling you the best skill for AI is critical thinking, but yeah, is the next level of skills are not related to hard skills. It's related to soft skills. Hard skills now are in your pocket. You can just prompt or search a video on YouTube and you will know the hard skill, which is how you do it. But the critical thinking will help you in what to do and why you are doing it. So yeah, I know it might sound like a weird answer, but I believe this is what I believe in.
I love it. I love it.
Wow. Nader, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you.
trick, so that we don't have to pay courses on how to talk to AI. That's
Yes.
very, very valuable. But also to have made us travel so far in the future, in some very optimistic future, to having talk about the negative side so that we can be aware of where we are going, to have brought us even at the end of the universe at some point. This was also completely unexpected. This was a very interesting discussion. Now, I would like to ask you a question that we ask all of our guests. I will
Mhm.
hand you the magic microphone. The magic microphone is magic because it allows you to give a message to everyone on Earth of today, but also everyone who's not even born yet. You have 2 minutes to share your message. What do you want to tell everyone?
I love this magic microphone, and I don't think I will need 2 minutes. I will just stay maybe in few seconds to everyone today and everyone who is not born yet. Tomorrow never comes. You go for it. So build your tomorrow today. Do something today so that your tomorrow would be better. Don't wait for the circumstances to change. So tomorrow never comes. We go for it. So go for tomorrow. Today, build something new. Learn something new. Understand something new. Change your future today. That's it. Thank you for the microphone. I love it.
Bravo, Nadir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was an intellectual exercise and vision into the future, but also a beautiful mirror to see how people can be better today. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And thank you for this. I loved every minute in it, and I love the interaction and the spirit and the energy. I loved it. So thank you so much for this opportunity, really.
absolutely. So, to our lovely audience listening, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, send it to a friend, and talk about the future. But build it today. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.